What if I told you that yes, Coca-Cola can give you cancer and your depression is actually a result of you dehydrating? Hi guys, welcome to the Diplomatic Desk, where we stand in the center of political circle with a spine. This video is actually about drinking habits. This is one of the most fundamental and the basic thing you all might be doing wrong. And today I am going to share my research on this. As you can understand, this is a very well researched video, so you will be seeing me reach out to my notes in the left. I've interviewed a psychologist who can help us navigate this terrible terrain of neuroeconomics. So first of all, let me explain you what neuroeconomics is. Neuroeconomics is study of addictive products. So all of these companies who are very good in food manufacturing create certain products which get addicted, to our brain. And we're gonna study them, how exactly they create this, what are the harms for it, and what are the controversies surrounding it. And I will also give you what you can do in this video, how to take a sociological and social step towards solving these issues. As a person who believes very thoroughly in democracy, I expect you guys to participate in this video with an open mind. So let's start with cold drinks. Cold drinks are one of the most loved beverages around the world. So what are the things they have which are not very useful for us? So first is added sugar. Added sugar is one of the most comprehensively, logically bad things about soft drinks. Because one, these sugars aren't created to give you better flavor, but they are created so that you can get addicted to it. So this doesn't actually follow the conventional rules of economics, but rather a different rule of economics. So in this understanding of my research, I can claim that added sugar actually are made to get you addicted towards these products, which isn't very likable for these companies, but they still do it, right? Then we have preservatives. One of the most controversial parts of this video is these preservatives. So one of the preservatives they use is sodium benzoate. One of the problems I can tell you is that these products get contaminated and spoiled very easily. So these preservatives are used in order for them not to get spoiled, right? And these sodium benzoate, they have very interesting nature. If they are mixed with vitamin C and they are in present of sunlight, they can form benzene, which is a carcinogen. Carcinogen is a thing that causes cancer. Yeah. So if conceived in right setting, Coca-Cola can be responsible for you giving cancer. And this is something people realized very early in the United States. And this has been stopped since then. So in Coca-Cola, they don't use sodium benzoate in America, but they are still being used in India. Even after wide concerns and consumers, they are still being used. And it's your responsibility. And now, I encourage you to go into our description where you will find a link of nocorruption.in. This website provides you with an extensive list of all of the MPs around your body. This is not a sponsored video, by the way. I would encourage you to go to them, email them and call them and tell them how concerned you are about this product. At least one of the things they are very prone to do is ignore you, but one of the best things you can do is just at least tell them. Let's moving on. So the sociological impact of this is very wide. The type 2 diabetes in the world is of around 9.8%, introducing every year because of just soft drinks. The heart disease is also very complicated in these things because you have high caloric diet in this particular soft drink, right? And then you have obesity epidemic. In India, it is there. In UK, it's there. In America, it's bigger than ever. Then economical impact. One of the things which is very important to understand is that the more underprivileged you are, the more economically challenged you are. You will be more prone towards these kind of products which have high sugar content in them. So it's very important for everybody to realize how dangerous they are. So what do I expect you to do? The one of the things is important to understand is that Coca-Cola is not something we're going to stop using out of a sudden after watching a 6-minute video, right? So I'd encourage you to control these habits, which is our next point, control these habits and encourage your politicians to take an action on these incredibly toxic preservatives which has been surrounding our modern day food.
Well-known nutritionist Robert Lustig, who's a professional in this field, he has done enough research regarding the politics and the biological mechanisms on how sugar harbors or sugar hinders our health. And he finds out and he speaks about it and writes about in his book Metabolical that sugar actually affects or alters the dopamine, serotonin, or dopamine chains in our brain, which creates an unnecessary addiction chain reaction in our head. As well as that, the the discomforting part of eating too much sugar or manufactured sugar is that our brain has a gate channel system for reducing the appetite. As in, you can be hungry, but you can also be satiated. Now the satiety can happen either in two ways. One is your stomach is full, as in your hunger is quenched, or your hunger is fulfilled, as in you have fed yourself. But there is a second aspect of it, which is the brain chemicals. And now if the brain chemicals do not get the signal from the stomach that your actually appetite is over and you're satiated, what would happen is you will continue to remain hungry. Now this is what the food companies or whoever is using the sugar contents in most of our food stuff, usually the packed food stuff, or the soft drinks that we drink, or any of the packed drinks which has sugar can often become addictive because they alter the satiety centers in our brain, which means the more we eat, the more our stomach is filled, the less we feel fulfilled. This is also the reason why the burgers that we eat, even if we keep eating more, the less we actually feel fulfilled, as compared to the good food or the normal food that is prepared in our homes. We can have only half of it and you will already feel fulfilled, and you will no longer be hungry for hours to come.
The political responsibilities. UK has specially created a particular tax called sugar tax, which has decreased people consuming additional sugars. This is something we can do. Another thing is public awareness. People aren't really aware of how preservatives and additional sugars are created and manufactured in companies and then installed in our food products that eventually poison us. So it's very important for us to fight these fight. Oh, sorry. The next thing I'm going to talk about is coffee. So one of the things it's very important to understand is that coffee actually increases your focus. And it's very important if you want to be productive in your daily life to include caffeine. And it also causes dehydration, right? So one of the things I would encourage you to do is include coffee with your regular beverages and also not get too much addicted by them, because coffee can cause dehydration and it also can cause anxiety and in some cases mood swings. The best drugs and very easy to detox, because all you have to do is just not consume it for 6 days, and you can use low caf and no caf and even sometimes green tea and hot water, as they are known to regulate your impulses of coffee craving, and they are also known to sort of arouse your central nervous system when consumed. Now I'm going to talk about alcoholism. Alcoholism is actually the most scariest part of this video, and I'm going to be as thorough as possible so people can understand the gravitas of the particular situation. So alcohol actually destroys a lot of households, more than you can think of, and you don't have to dig deep in criminal behavioral psychology to see and to understand that alcohol is present almost everywhere in criminal behavior. One of the things which is very important to understand is why actually alcohol is so addictive. So alcohol actually releases dopamine. So it's kind of like that button that a particular mouse would push when electrolytes are connected to its brain. And it gets a dopamine boost. That is what exactly alcohol seems to be. Alcohol also seems to have a very interesting anxiety reducing properties. So people who are very neurotic and who are very prone to anxiety and who have anxiety issues are actually reaching out for alcohol because of their anxiety reducing property. And this anxiety reducing property is not actually very good because it has a negative reinforcement. So, for example, if you have drank a lot of alcohol, you will wake up with an hangover. And it is until you realize that that hangover can temporarily be treated by consuming another bottle of the alcohol. And until this will keep repeating itself until you have consumed all of the alcohol in your home, and the next is the bar. And then you will go ahead and drink all of the drinks in the bar, which actually makes you what? Yes, a chronic drinker. Tolerance and dependencies. Alcohol actually causes tolerance. So, for example, if you're getting drunk for 100 mls of alcohol, after a certain time, you'll be tolerant towards it, and after that, you're gonna need to consume 150 mls of it, which is a lot actually. Alcoholism is actually one of those diseases which is known to do a neurodegenerative. It has a neurodegenerative side. So your brain is actually dying while you're consuming alcohol. And then we have a sociological impact. So this is where I'm gonna read the stats for you. In England and Wales, 39% of violent crimes in 2017 and 18 are involved offenders under the influence of alcohol. The low socioeconomic group experience higher rates of alcoholic related violence and antisocial behavior. Alcohol is a significant factor in domestic violence cases with a higher prevalence in disadvantaged communities. So, for example, if you are unprivileged and economically challenged, you have a lot of risk to being an alcoholic. So, you're more prone to become an alcoholic. It's certainly because of the environment which you are in. So, alcoholism is indeed a poison that is surrounded less fortunate people in the society. Domestic violence, so it's 39. It seems that alone in United Kingdom, 39% of the domestic violence cases involve alcoholism. So as I said, alcoholism is nothing to be proud of, and it is one of the most scariest disease I have ever seen in society. And apart from this, we do have heroin and a lot of addiction properties, but this video is actually about drinking habits. So I hope this particular interview, which I'm going to show you next, helps you. One of the things which you can do if you are an alcoholic addict is not to see this video and leave your alcoholic addiction. The thing to do is to reach out to clinical psychologist, which can actually help you reducing this addiction. To get out of it, it's very important to get additional help because it's actually have destroyed your central nervous system, and you'll get very bad detoxing. How should I put it? Very bad detoxing symptoms. So I hope you get help.
So any sort of addictive patterns will require a complex system or a changing in your patterns in order for you to completely come out of it. Now, motivation speakers might talk to you about how it's important to have the willpower. But see, the problem is that willpower is regarding our mind, and setting the mindset is not merely enough. Yes, the mindset does work a long way, but at the same time, our environment is a lot important. So, my trainer often gives this example. Let's say that in your room, you keep a place where the water is currently available, or there is a water fountain whenever you're walking. The more you look at it, or the more you see it, the more you hear the sound, the more you have the tendency to become more thirsty, or even to pee. So the urges is usually affected and influenced by the environment, by the things around you, by the people around you. So environmental control has a huge impact and influence on your perceptions, which again will change the way your brain is giving signals to yourself. So changing the place, changing the environment, changing any access, or even minute triggers, we call it subliminal triggers. Even the presence of such triggers, or even things that might trigger the subliminal triggers itself, should be completely avoided and completely kept out of your vision or out of your mind. Sometimes we say that if you are going to take a path and if you see an alcoholic shop there, then do not even take a path. Maybe the other road is 1.2 kilometers or 3 miles away. But for your own safety, if you are someone who is going through addiction, it's best to avoid that lane. because maybe it's a bit more effort to go through the other lane, but it's not as worse as you getting into the addiction loop and losing a lot of money and a lot of things, and getting into a lot of trouble in the end. So yes, first thing is having a proper mindset. Second is changing the environment. Third is to learn how to control the withdrawal symptoms. It doesn't matter whether it's an addictive substance or even normal food. When you start getting hungry, the urge to eat again becomes so high, so intense, that you would eat whatever is available, and whatever food is there with you, even if it's not tasty, you will start feeling it is actually tasty. So the problem with addictive substances is you will start having cravings in your mind, and the cravings become so huge that you start believing you cannot live without having at least one drop of it, whether it be drugs, whether it be sugar, whether it be alcohol, whether it be sometimes even coffee, or any caffeinated carbonated drinks which has addictive substances. And moreover, it also comes with preservatives, which is even more toxic chemical contents in it. So in order to break out of it, you should learn how to manage these uh, triggered withdrawal symptoms by, you cannot stop any behaviors. Human behavior or human psychology is so diverse that you cannot suddenly stop any patterns in your life, but there is a choice of completely altering or giving it a alternate solution, or behaviors patterns.
So now I'm going to talk about dehydration. Dehydration is one of the most important things to consider when you're trying to be extra productive in your life. So let's start with one of the most important things to understand. The dehydration can cause your electrolyte debalance, which is very important in your cognitive thinking. And when I'm talking about cognitive processes, a lot of these processes actually rely on neurotransmitters, which in turn rely on ionization, which in turn actually depends upon our molecules of water to sort of transmit through the barriers of our neurocircuitries. So let's talk about first dehydration, and then we're going to talk about the sociological impacts. So dehydration can actually cause anxiety inside you, and it's also known to cause chronic depression, and mood fluctuation is actually also responsible for it. So this is one of the reasons when people are dehydrated, they are very itchy, they are very weird in many senses. Cognitive impact actually it gives a very negative cognitive impact. In certain sense, it is cognitive impairment because it actually impairs your problem solving capabilities, and it makes the metabolism slow, which is a very interesting. And it also hinders the decision making how should I put it, decision making and problem solving capabilities. Now the sociological impact to understand is that in the workplace productivity, right, and dehydration contributes to fatigue and cognitive decline, reducing productivity in office settings. So if you are in boss, it's actually kind of your responsibility to make sure that everyone is productive around you, so that your company can actually grow. Communication and social behavior. Dehydration, as I said, because of the mood swings, it actually causes bad societal communications with co-workers and maybe your family. So if your family member seems very itchy today, it's good to offer them a glass of water. The economical burden is also very important because when you are dehydrated, it's very important to understand when you're dehydrated, you are more prone towards anxiety, depression, which actually can cause you to lose a little bit of money. So that's your economics right there. Now, the specific impact and how you can prevent dehydration is very important. So for a human being, normal human being, an adult, it's recommended that you take 8 to 10 glasses of water a particular in every day. So one of the things I have done is I just put my water bottle near my working desk, which actually helps me drink a lot of water. As you can see, it's quite literally empty. So this is one of the things which you have to include in your life too if you're trying to be more productive. Is it cold outside? Is it not you who has abandoned his dreams? Is it you who has belonged to nowhere? If yes, then stand up and run. Run towards the problems. Run through the desperation. Run towards the competence. Give and not ask. Be someone responsible, for don't be a responsibility, thou, the son of winter. Listen what I say. He who has the sword and know how to use it, but keeps its sheath, shall rule the world.